Line it up and turn it over.
We're about to go live, councillors.
Oh, so, live.
It's all right. Morning, councillor staff. We have a workshop and briefing today, an extra one. You must be getting through a bit, Mr. Jennings, that's great. We have item 1.1, our customer service charter. I'll hand over to Mark and the staff.
Morning, Mr. Mayor, councillors. This is, as you said, our customer service charter. I'd like to hand straight over to Andre to introduce this item.
Thank you, Andrew. Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, councillors. So this morning's presentation is in regard to our customer service charter. Essentially, councillors, we have a current customer service charter that was adopted by council in 2019. Staff have revised that charter to reflect the corporate plan of 22-27, mainly in regard to the new values that are in that corporate plan and also council's priorities to enhance communication and engagement. Today, I'll just overview those changes, the proposed changes to the charter, and we'll also be seeking your feedback about those changes. And that's with the view to bringing the charter back to councillors at the ordinary meeting on the 13th of December. So just quickly, in terms of what are the goals of a customer service charter? Essentially, it's to document council's commitment to providing a positive customer service experience. It's to explain how to contact council and how we respond to requests. Further, it's to outline the standard of service and timeframes that customers can expect when interacting with council. And finally, to provide a consistent approach to customer service across the organisation. So councillors, I'm going to jump straight to the proposed changes, and I've kind of highlighted them up here on the screen for you. So the parts in red are the new parts, essentially. So we've just outlined that the customer service charter applies to any person who requests information, services or actions from the regional council. So that could be an individual, it could be a community group, it could be a business, it could be a government agency. All of those people who contact council, this same customer service charter applies. We've got a new section in here around where we operate. That's essentially to illustrate to customers that we have a very large region stretching from Rainbow Beach to Boobergin to Theebine to Barumba in the south. And we also do refer to the traditional land of the Cubby Cubby, Waka Waka and much of the plains. New sections in how to contact us, we've included the National Relay Service, so that's to support persons who are deaf or have hearing or speech impairments. We've also included the interpreter service, so for those who are needing an interpreter, they can call those numbers. Just for council's information, they are both free services, there's no additional cost to council, but it's a way of enabling a broad range of people to access our services. We've also put in a new section down the bottom about how people can make payments to council. In the when we will respond to you section, we've inserted a new sentence in there about when you call us, we'll strive to pick up your call within 60 seconds. We do routinely meet that target. It's just about being transparent about what customers can expect when they call us. And we have seen in other customer service charters that they do put that target in there so the customers know. We've also included as a proposal that we'll acknowledge requests within 2 business days. So that means that people will get a customer reference number and they get that within 2 days. In terms of how we will respond to customers, we've inserted the new council values. How you can help us, we've inserted an extra part in there about customers demonstrating reasonable behaviour when interacting with council. And that'll be in line probably with the future policy around reasonable behaviour. We've also added a new section here about staying up to date with council. That's connecting with us via council's website, disaster dashboard, opt-in alerts, Facebook, etc. We always just think it's a good idea to share with customers all the different ways that they can stay in contact with us, and also to do an extra plug for things like the disaster dashboard and the opt-in alert. Councillors, there is sections in the proposed customer service charter which I just couldn't fit on the screen, and they are around feedback, privacy and complaints resolution. They are substantially the same as the last customer service charter. We've just updated the website links, etc. So councillors, we are now over to seeking your feedback. So firstly, there is a proposal to repeal the 2019 charter because essentially it's out of date. And secondly, looking for your comments or feedback on any of the proposed changes. And then further, we're seeking your views and guidance on whether you'd like to delegate the charter's ongoing development and amendments to the Chief Executive Officer on the grounds that the Charter is considered I'm sorry, my throat is really not great today, councillors. On the grounds that it's an administrative procedure, which is the purpose of which is to achieve Council's higher order strategy around customer service. So, councillors, over to you.
Any questions, comments, councillors?
I'm really pleased, sorry,
Yep,
through the
Councillor
mayor, really pleased to see the acknowledgement in there, the target, because it has been something that I hear about a lot. So really good to have that in there, make it firm.
Any other comments, councillors? Councillor Stewart.
Mr. Mayor, just in regard to considering it like operational and the Chief Executive, I'm generally in favour of that, but probably still need a policy to give the right direction, I guess.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So what I'm hearing is that perhaps a policy to sit above the customer service charter with regard to council's commitment to providing excellence in customer service, and then the charter is the kind of operational form of making that happen. So if we need to tweak or change this, the CEO could do that as long as it's in line with the policy.
Are we just creating an extra job? Is there some way that we could, within item 3 you've got there, just allow the CEO to do that, and then but just have it sent to councillors for their information and input as part of that revision process? Because we want to try and streamline things, and we certainly don't want you to have to put another document together that requires another item to come to council. But at the same time, we do need to have an understanding of the direction that the organisation is heading.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I'm certainly absolutely keen for this to come back to council on the 13th and to have a decision on it.
So is it possible to have let's say that it comes to the meeting, we delegate that to the CEO, but with a provision that that there is councillor input into the policy during its revision?
Into the charter.
Into the
If
charter.
there's any such amendments?
Yes. Just like we get the opportunity now to comment on the charter and suggest changes, rather than take the time to bring it here, we could do that as when the CEO is doing that revision. Is that a possibility?
I might defer to the CEO on this one.
So there's a couple of ways of acknowledging that someone can talk later on. But through yourself, Mayor, I do think that it might be something that within the corporate plan or something that you indicate that this is important to have a customer service focus and any things that pick out there. And then if it does become operational, that would be ideal, because then it's something that as long as I'm achieving your goals from the corporate plan, then you know that we're heading in the right direction. That would be my suggestion, but we're obviously open in a workshop to see what that is.
Councillor Miller?
Mr. Mayor, seeing that this is basically a service standard, I'm assuming that when we get to our service standards within council, we'll be looking at a service standard policy, which will probably hit one of these topics, because I understand that we want to streamline processes, but if we're going to be asked for feedback on something, it's going to be in a public forum, because that's transparency. If it's going to come to us, I don't want to do any feedbacking stuff unless it's through this system. So, but I am assuming that if we did have a policy beyond service standards, I do believe that the CEO is correct. It is actually hitting what our corporate plan says. I do believe it is probably an operational lower plan, and I don't know if that's the option view later on for a overarching policy as suggested by Councillor Stewart.
Councillor Devereux?
Thank you. Through the mayor. Now, this is a finicky thing, but I'm just going to bring it up because I noticed it. At the bottom of the attachment 2, where you've got "we will respond to you," I just, for consistency, the 2's written in as a word, whereas the 60 seconds and 10 business days are numbers. It just helps when,
I'll defer to my very learned colleagues in communication.
I said it was finicky.
There are things around up to 10.
Up to 10, yep.
Single digits and words.
Up to 10, you spell it.
I do understand, but when I was looking for it, I couldn't find it for a little while because I was looking for the number 2. Anyway, that's just...
Anything else, councillors? Councillor Friedman?
This is a step forward. I've just got a question about what's the consequences if no one gets back to us within 10 days. 10 business days, what happens then? Do people evaporate?
It's
Or as
Generally,
Councillor Waldock
they
said,
call me.
can I just say, can I preface that by saying things have immensely improved in the last 12 months, possibly 6 months. But what's the consequence internally if this isn't adhered to?
Thank you. Through you, Mr Mayor, I think it goes to a really important point around one of Council's core values is around accountability. So not only is customer service one, but accountability. So our internal processes are that we run monthly reports on which CRMs are outstanding, actually listed by department, by team and by officer name, and then it's managers' responsibilities to follow up with individual officers on those individual CRMs. So at the moment, councillors, this will be in your quarterly update in December, we're tracking at a 95% closeout rate within 10 days. We do acknowledge that there's certain departments within council that are struggling to meet that time frame. So we spoke to the CEO about that this week actually in terms of providing targeted support to those teams that are not meeting that time frame. We are aware of that and we need to provide either additional support to those teams, additional admin, or just discussions around how they're coping with that time frame so that we can better actually go back to those customers and acknowledge we are sorry, we didn't meet the 10-day time frame. This is how we're going to try and achieve this. So in terms of accountability, it's very much managers every month see a report about which CRMs are outstanding, which officers need some support in closing that out. We've got in the operational plan a commitment to councillors to close out with 95% within a 10-day time frame, and we're working very hard to bring that up to 100%.
If I can just add something that through you, Mr Mayor, I guess it's important to note that the 10 business days doesn't mean that we'll always solve a person's particular problem. It's about us just acknowledging that we've got it and how we will proceed in attempting to assist them with their inquiry.
Thank you. Through yourself, Mayor. There's probably four sort of levels. The first one, I think Andre has answered very well. The second one is we are recording it and tracking it, so that's really important. We've moved from quite a lower number to 95%, so we are tracking well, so that's the result of that. I think the fourth one, which is the good sign, is we're getting the customer contact teams are actually going, we want this to be done. CEO, can you make sure you support the teams so we can get this stuff done? So the culture is one where we're trying to get back, and when it's not happening, they're going, we really want it done, how do we make it happen to support the team? So I think it's that last one that will allow this to continue to increase. And the final one, I suppose, is if it's not happening and you're not getting your answer, as elected members, you can come to me. So I'm the fallback, and you get to monitor my performance.
Any other questions? Councillor Mills?
Mr Mayor, I did notice that in our current chart, it does have a line that says if we can't actually meet the time frames, like we'll actually keep updates and keep working with you. That's missing on the new one. And I thought that was actually a good one as well. Another one is, it's not just us, it's the general public, and I do get inquiries. I said, have you followed that up? Have you got a number? And they said, no, we haven't followed it up. I said, well, just follow it up, because sometimes it's a big organisation, there's a lot of inquiries coming in. I encourage that a lot, and if it could be reflected somehow, if you haven't heard from us, just follow us up. And we're happy. And then is that the working with you type of part? I don't know. But I did notice that's not on the new one as in the old one. Perhaps that working to pilots. Yeah.
Through you, Mr Mayor, we did combine some sentences, so you're absolutely right, Councillor, that sentence isn't a standalone anymore. We've kind of incorporated it, that staff from the relevant council area will provide you with an answer or estimated time for resolution within 10 business days of your request. But you're more going to, and we'll keep you informed of the progress.
If we can't make, or if there isn't, it says in the old one, if we can't meet the time frames or, circumstance beyond the control or it's a complex thing, they'll be updated. There's no time frames on updates, and it's also that reflection as well that if you don't get something, don't get angry at council, just follow it up. Because I've had those ones where it just got followed up. It's like, oh, sorry, that person was away, didn't get it, and now here's your answer.
Through you, Mr Mayor, if councillors are open to this, we can certainly add in an extra sentences that, because it does say, from time to time, these timeframes may be affected by circumstances beyond our control. And we will keep you updated on the progress of your inquiry, full stop, if councillors are happy with that.
Councillor Mill, did you want to add something?
Oh, no, just the other one. I like the DL format of the old one as well, because it's very counter-friendly, and then this one's kind of a flat. I don't know if you're going to do two formats.
We're happy to talk to the comms team about a range of different mediums that this can be provided in.
Because I can see how this one, the DL, would be confusing on the
It's
website.
kind of
Yeah, yeah, but it'd be handy as a handout.
Yeah, I'll give CEO and then Councillor Friendly.
I just wanted to, you raised a question through Councillor Stewart and yourself, Mayor, whether how we, whether we take this document becomes something that's operational or not. Can we put a bit of thought into that in terms of stuff about how we might best achieve that and bring it when we bring it back? We look at that. So the best answer we've got for that.
will do. Thank you, CEO.
Councillor Friedman.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I notice in the new OIA rules, they've got a category called serial complainants, in nice words. I'm more than happy that we have a similar category in this policy. I may have one or two people who fit in that category who think their role in life is to be a nuisance. And I'd like to think that we're not going to penalise staff if they're caught in this situation of being constantly harangued. So I don't know how you write that in, but the OIA's managed to write it in their guidelines. And I will add that sometimes there's a fine line between a well-intentioned complaint and someone just having fun at council's expense. So that realistically does happen. I just like it recognised as well.
Well, it's at their own expense as well, because the staff time that they use up to deal with a complaint that may not be desirable actually costs them money because they're funding the organisation. So it's a bit of a cut your nose off to spite your face. But I think Councillor Fredman's point is really relevant. Councillor Stewart.
It is picked up generally by the alliances by demonstrating reasonable behaviour when interacting with staff, with council. Now there's a start, is that, yeah, but it probably maybe needs to be a bit more specific, but there is an expectation that you be reasonable when you're dealing with council. Which hopefully then means that they're going to be shouting over the phone at staff will just hang up. Or whatever.
Probably does need to be some clause that says, if we determine that you're a serial complainant or whatever, that we won't be corresponding. Because I can think of some people I've had 4 or 5 meetings with, and it's just over and over the same stuff. And it's like, some of it's not even, most of it's not even a local government issue, but they just want to come back to you all the time. I think that there needs to be something in there for staff to say, not our cup of tea.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just for further information for councillors, the team has been working with governance on a new policy which is around reasonable customer behaviour. Certainly the very, very vast majority of customers are an absolute pleasure to work with and to serve, but there are instances where we do need to protect our staff, and that policy will cover that. And as Councillor Stewart pointed out, that sentence in the charter would then refer on to that policy when it's adopted.
Anything else, councillors? Any other input? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr Parker.
Thank you.
Item 1.2, the procurement panel, September 2023. Mr Lewis and Ms Hatherall.
Good morning, councillors. Good morning, Mayor. I might do an Andrew and just hand over straight over to Deb. Procurement report.
Thank you very much, Dave. Mr Mayor, councillors, this is our regular update for procurement activities that occur within the organisation which are under the CEO's delegation. Some of these items you will notice are releases to market for requests for tenders. If those particular tenders come back and the price is tendered exceeds the $500,000 that the CEO can approve, they will obviously come back to council as part of a meeting. So if there's any questions with the activities the procurement team and the procurement panel have been undertaking,
questions, councillors?
Yes, through you, Mr Mayor, this process mirrors what we do with council sometimes, but these why don't we come back to a workshop with the other major items coming to council for resolution?
If there's no questions, councillors, we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Ms. Haswell. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. That concludes our workshop items. We have a number of briefing items. We might just break for 5 minutes to grab a cup of tea and then we'll get into the briefing.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt you.